Human beings are the only species on the face of the earth that continues to drink milk long after infancy and intentionally consumes the biological fluids of an entirely different animal. We like to think we do it out of pure nutritional necessity, but history proves you can take a massive agricultural oversupply, wrap it in a government-backed marketing scheme, and trick multiple generations into believing their bones will literally shatter if they don't drink a glass of cow fluid every single day. Right now, dairy is deeply embedded in global culture. It has its own mandatory section on government food pyramids. It's heavily subsidized by taxpayers, and it's a multi-billion-dollar corporate empire. But the idea that milk is an essential daily superfood is an entirely manufactured illusion engineered by a massive government-backed cartel. We look at milk today through a lens of pure wholesome health. It's the standard carton handed to every single kid in the school cafeteria, the absolute foundation of breakfast cereal, and the classic drink we pair with chocolate chip cookies. But before the early 1900s, milk was a highly unstable regional product that people consumed cautiously. It spoiled within days, and without modern pasteurization, it frequently carried deadly bacteria like tuberculosis. The story completely changes during World War I, when the United States government faced an absolute crisis. They needed to ship massive amounts of protein to millions of soldiers fighting overseas. So they urged American dairy farmers to maximize milk production. Farmers bought more land, modernized their barns, and started pumping out unprecedented ocean-sized waves of liquid dairy. The government dehydrated the milk into powder and shipped it across the Atlantic. But then the war suddenly ended. Almost overnight, the military demand completely vanished. But the cows didn't stop producing milk. The US dairy industry was suddenly stuck with a catastrophic multi-million gallon surplus that was rotting in warehouses and tanking the economy. So the dairy lobby didn't cut back. Instead, they turned to the US government to completely hijack the consumer mind. In the 1920s, Congress passed massive agricultural acts, establishing a deeply entrenched system of government subsidies. They legally forced schools to buy millions of cartons of milk for lunch programs, ensuring a guaranteed corporate buyer for the farmer's excess fluid. But their greatest masterpiece then was creating a massive silent propaganda machine. They began funding highly aggressive public relations campaigns targeted directly at mothers and children. They hired scientists to push selective data claiming milk was the only viable source of calcium for human development. By the 1990s, a massive coalition of dairy processors launched the iconic Got Milk celebrity ad campaign, using every major Hollywood star and athlete to convince the public that drinking milk was elite, fashionable, and medically mandatory. The joke is, the human body was never designed for this loop. If you look at the global data, roughly 65 to 70% of the entire human population experiences a natural biological decline in lactose tolerance after infancy. Our bodies are literally designed to stop digesting it, but the dairy cartel was so successful at rewriting nutritional science that we view lactose intolerance as a weird medical defect rather than the standard state of adult human biology. We spent an entire century letting an aggressive agricultural lobby dictate our global dietary habits, spending billions of dollars in taxpayer subsidies to artificial prop up a massive oversupply. All because a group of politicians and farm executives had to find a way to dump an industrial surplus of cow fluid into our kitchens. So, next time you pour a glass of milk or add cream to your coffee, take a second to look past the carton. You're participating in the most successful multi-generational marketing trap ever devised. If you knew that most of the world naturally stops digesting dairy after childhood, would you still view milk as an essential health food, or would you see it as just another heavily marketed corporate product? Let me know in the comments.